Hello guys, DJParson here and I'm back with another video of group stage number 4. We are nearing the end, but I have another great game for you guys. It is Smoula versus endgame. Endgame, of course, is very well known. He has won DJPulse one season, I believe, and he was also pretty good in the last Return Cup. And then Smoula is also a regular on DJPulse, very good player. From Czechia, if I remember correctly, and endgame, of course, from China. And yeah, they are in a group together and they have this hopefully very exciting game. We will take a quick look at the leaders and wonders. We see the Library, Colosseum and Acropolis, Gutenberg, Bach, but no Shakespeare. We have the Sewers and Cook, St. Pete's, Forbidden City, Pierre is here, Red Cross, Hollywood is here, Chaplin and Fleming. So this could become quite the culture fest. And then of course it depends on who gets Bach, who gets the Hollywood and all of that, but that is far in the future. Let's see what we will see in HA. So Smoula takes Alex, which is a little bit interesting, I would say. I probably would have just gone for the library. We see endgame just go Hammurabi. Okay. Yeah, pretty interesting as well. I wouldn't have done that. I would have gone for library and Aristotle, or maybe library and urban growth. I guess the problem when not grabbing Hammurabi is then you have to go Aristotle, and library is not the best combo. But yeah, I mean, this leaves engineering on 2. Hammurabi is still a pretty good leader. Now we will see Smoula go for the library and the engineering genius, building a mine. I probably wouldn't have gone for the engineering genius. I would have let it stay there, would have elected Alex and increased pop instead. That would keep the Acropolis on 2. And like in this current meta, and especially from the Chinese players, endgame will be very happy to get the Acropolis. So that would have been one way to play around that. Engineering Genius here, of course, is also a good card. And we will see endgame go for the Acropolis, build a mine, increase pop, urban growth. Yes, he does that. So he does have Hammurabi and Acropolis. And Smoula will have Alex and the library. He will go for the monarchy. Of course, it is hard to give the monarchy to a Hammurabi this early on, especially Hammurabi, who also has the backup of Acropolis. So the synergy isn't perfect. When you do revolution, you can't use the science reduction on the Acropolis. But of course, it's still a very good card, especially this early on. 3rd card from the deck. Then we will see Alex, we will see the increase of population, and then probably next turn just finish the library from Smoula. And endgame will go for Gutenberg. We'll grab the drama. We'll elect Gutenberg this turn, build that extra lab with the extra civil action, grab iron here and probably the rich land, yeah. So he's used Gutenberg for this turn already for the philosophy. Means he has to hope for the alchemy or the printing press to come out pretty soon, or Gutenberg will not be doing much for a little bit of time. And then of course iron is very, very good, especially with that rich land. Doesn't have enough for it next turn, but next turn he could just finish the Acropolis, grab some important cards, stuff like that. So he's definitely looking at a good start, I would say. There is no Shakespeare, but there is Darwin. So with Gutenberg he could also go for printing presses. And then Happy Faces might become an issue, but there's St. Pete's, there's Forbidden City. So yeah, overall I like Gutenberg here. Smoula will use Alex, will go for Isabella. That means no library this turn. He will increase pop and build an extra farm. Okay, I mean, yeah, he gets the extra yellow cube from Alex, extra food production now. I mean, maybe in parts because of corruption, but he will have extra rocks from Isabella. Now he will have extra population from Alex and the extra farm. So he will have a lot of stuff. The thing he doesn't have at the moment is civil actions and science, but for the science there's the library. And for the civil actions he already has monarchy, so if he starts to get some extra science from the library, you will get that monarchy out hopefully soon. And Arigan will finish the library, will finish the Acropolis, and indeed he can't use Gutenberg this turn. I mean, he could just grab the alchemy, but I don't believe he will do that. No, he wants a new wonder. He will grab the Forbidden City. Overall, I like it. I mean, he still has some investments to do, but with Gutenberg, the thing is, you don't wanna... He's not really great at spending a lot of rocks. All of a sudden, he needs his setup turns, he needs the turns where he grabs the alchemy, develops them, and then he finally upgrades them, but one at a turn. So he needs somewhere to spend his rocks. Of course, first idea is the iron. But when the iron is online, it will produce a lot of more rocks, and then a wonder is great. So I really like him picking up a wonder here. Yeah, good. We haven't seen a development yet, so maybe we can see a first one if Smoula reveals it. Yes. First development is the one of crafts. So Smoula now is rich, 10 rocks. He will finish the library with the engineering genius. Can increase pop and build a warrior. And I think, did I see that correctly? No, yeah. Was able to use the engineering genius for all the rocks. Still gets out of corruption with the extra warrior. And then next turn, I mean, he still has 8 rocks, enough population to increase, or enough food to increase population. So he still has a lot of things to do. And Arigan will increase pop here 2 times. Will develop and upgrade the iron. So one more turn where he doesn't use Gutenberg. Okay, now he does. Okay, he does find a way. He will go for an extra philosophy. Maybe not the ideal thing to do, but I think with the Forbidden City, he won't need the happy faces. So he does have the extra population to put one more into philosophy. He probably would have preferred printing presses. But this is still an okay setup, getting the extra science, and then maybe Darwin will be an option. Maybe Bach to rebuild these rather not perfect philosophies. And the big thing is gonna be, does he also go for alchemies maybe next turn with the extra civil action from Gutenbeast? But this is a pretty clean setup. He will have 6 rocks next turn to upgrade the iron. Maybe he gets reserves or something. He will, I think, have the time to finish the Forbidden City, not run into any happy face issues. So I like that. Getting the extra science, the extra lab from Gutenberg. And then we will see Smoula push once again, and he will open the development of religion, and both of them can take it. Smoula will then also take the knights, so military becomes a thing now. All of a sudden he will build a knight probably, and if he reveals a tactic, which he does, 7 strength versus 2, so all of a sudden he does become kind of threatening, and Arigan only has the 1 extra strength from the Acropolis. Yeah, Smoula doesn't have the most military actions, so that is not super scary. He did have to spend a lot of them. Has spent 3 military actions on building the units, playing the tactic. But he's already played 2 cards, so if he wants to push more, he could pressure from the event deck instead of something like aggression. But he could also just have the aggressions. And Arigan only has 2 MAs, so he couldn't defend. Development of settlement, that is useful for Arigan. We can see if he will build, I mean, if he had the fighting band, he could build a warrior, play the fighting band, could potentially defend, but that would also mean no upgrade for the for the 3rd iron. Will grab the alchemy, has to spend 1 extra civil actions on it, but yeah, the printing presses are super late. It is still 2 culture from Gutenberg, and he can use it next turn. Gets a breakthrough on top of that. But of course now there's the danger of an aggression. He can't defend it. So let's see if Smoula, with his few military action draws, if he has gotten that aggression. Yes, and it is the Enslave. 2 rocks, 2 food for Smoula, and Arigan will lose that population. That of course means no extra card draw for Smoula this turn. That is one of the problems with the Enslave, but of course still pretty great for him. And Arigan loses a pop, so not the biggest problem for him. But for Smoula, getting the extra rocks, if he can't spend them this turn. He will build an extra lab, will build an extra religion. Can increase pop again, so he will get out of corruption as well. I mean, his setup, of course it's good that he got the aggression. His military push has paid off now. He still has a lot of rocks. Maybe next turn he can go for the St. Pete's. Overall his production isn't quite there, but he even has the alchemy next turn. Next turn he can upgrade both alchemies. Can then at some point finally go for the monarchy. Yeah, I still like his position, yeah. I mean, he hasn't upgraded any of his infrastructure yet. He won't be getting the first irrigation. There's still the iron. But with the alchemy in hand, he has something good to do next turn. So yeah, I like his position. I wasn't sure, but yes, I think I like that. Endgame will develop the alchemy. Grabs irrigation and masonry. Increases pop. And nothing else. So yeah, use this extra selection from Gutenberg to go for that alchemy. Masonry here for him is pretty good. Means he can save civil actions on the Forbidden City. He will save the rocks and upgrading the alchemies. Those will become super cheap. So Gutenberg will find work for 3 more turns at least. And that is very, very good. Going into H2 with still things to do with Gutenberg means he's not useless. You can wait until you go for new leader. Depending on when they come out, of course. But yeah, I like that really much, especially with masonry. Will make these upgrades really cheap. Only 1 rock and no civil actions because they come from Gutenberg. Irrigation. Yeah, of course, food is an issue here if you don't go for it. There's no ocean liner and no one has extra food yet. Smoula is fine with his 3 food production at the moment. So Endgame, yeah, kind of forced to go for the irrigation here. And he will do exactly that. Of course, there could be another aggression, but as I said, Smoula hasn't drawn new cards. If he had another aggression in hand, of course, he could go for 1 more. But he didn't. He can push though, and we get the last development, agriculture. And then Smoula probably gonna go for alchemies. No, he also wants that St. Pete's. Can he get out of corruption here? That is... he can. Just build 2 steps that will get him out of corruption. Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, he skips the Code of Laws for this. He skips the early alchemies. Or he skips, maybe not early alchemies, he skips the alchemies. Could go for monarchy next turn or still for the alchemies. Skips the iron, but I like this wonder quite a lot. That will give him the happy faces. He can next turn get 1 more pop out. He will have a lot of free population. And with his military and 3 agricultures, population is something he definitely needs. So I like that one quite a lot. We will then probably see Endgame start with the upgrades. First of all, finish the Forbidden City. Upgrade 1 alchemy. Maybe develop irrigation. Does he want to do that? He will reveal a tactic. So now he can defend with just 1 defend card. Sucks a little bit to spend military actions from H2 on all of this. Maybe he could have done that last turn. On the other hand, now he has drawn extra cards. Maybe he has drawn those defend cards and now he feels like this actually does something. And then he will go for irrigation and an urban growth, but not upgrade. Oh, he didn't have the rocks to upgrade irrigation. Yeah, then urban growth makes sense. Alternative would have been engineering genius, but he already has 2 wonders. He has the masonry, so not the best synergy for the engineering genius. And then next turn he can start upgrading the food and maybe, yeah, he needs 1 extra food to get the extra pop out, so he's probably searching for that. Barbarians, Endgame does have the most culture and he's the weakest, so that hurts. That is from the extra culture he's gotten from Gutenberg. And so that means he will have to destroy population. Could be philosophy and then rebuild. I mean, that at least gives him, he can get the population back. So he could destroy the philosophy, rebuild it with Gutenberg if he wants that. But let's first take a look at Smoula's turn, who will just grab the Republic. I mean, it's pretty early. He wants a new government form, of course. He can still finish the St. Pete's, does that. And can go for Republic next turn. Won't give him the MAs. There's no extra MAs to be had besides Catherine. So I don't know if it's worth 3 civil actions. I don't know if Endgame would have gone for the Republic. Probably he would have. But maybe then that could be fine for smoula892. He still has the monarchy in hand. I just, yeah, the more I think about it, I don't think I like the Republic for 3. You can leave it on 2. It's still not that easy for Ender. I mean, of course, he could grab it if he wants it, but he can't go for it next turn immediately. And then if Enderwigan has or does go for the Republic, then smoula892, who has the military lead at the moment, can pressure. And I would have preferred that. On the other hand, Enderwigan does have more rock production, so pressuring him could be hard. And smoula892 thinks, okay, I can just go for the Republic this turn or go for the next turn and then get extra civil actions to grab some cards to keep up with the rock production from my opponent. We will also build an extra knight to get out of corruption. And that will be it. 9 strength versus 4. Will Enderwigan push? No, but he grabs cannons. He will develop one as well. He did destroy 1 lab. Can build a cannon if he wants to here. He does want to. Still upgrade 1 alchemy, sure. Upgrade 1 irrigation perhaps. Grab the journalism. Upgrade 1 alchemy, 1 irrigation, okay. Not 100% convinced by the journalism when you already have the alchemy. I guess it's something to do with Gutenberg. And your opponent does have good culture production from the St. Pete's and his religions. And potentially Enderwigan could develop the journalism next turn with Gutenberg. He has cannons now, he could feel like he's safe now. And with his rocks could afford journalisms. And mainly, yeah, probably mainly just to have something to do with Gutenberg. No new leader has shown up. And even if they are early, some of them are pretty bad for him. He probably wants to wait for either Darwin or Bach if this becomes a culture game, so at least keep the option for one of those two. So with the journalism, he has the option to still keep Gutenberg, do something with him. smoula892 will get the Republic, and Conmon comes out as well. Well then, I mean, he kind of has to deny the Conmon. I mean, he has to deny the Conmon, and then he could have also gone for the Conmon himself. He had enough science for that, so I don't agree with this. Especially, I mean, he has to grab it, yeah. He has to grab it. He could have just grabbed it and developed it, and then we would have had the MAs. I mean, if you have to grab it anyway, you'd rather have the Conmon than the Republic, I would say, especially if you don't have any extra MAs yet. So that's interesting. I don't know exactly why he would prefer the Republic over the Conmon. Maybe for science, so you will have 4 science next turn, but I don't see that as a good enough reason. I mean, you can increase pop, grab the breakthrough, and selective breeding. No. So the 1 extra science doesn't do much. Yeah, he gets 1 more civil action this turn. And every turn, of course, but he misses out on the 4 military actions from the Conmon, misses out on card draw. Especially with MAs, he could be way more threatening. Yeah, so I think that I don't agree with this play. I think Conmon would have been better than Republic. But in general, it's good that he does get a government form and can deny Enderwigan the second one. Enderwigan, of course, with the Acropolis especially, not gonna have an H1 or 2 government form. That is not ideal. Enderwigan will develop that journalism, will grab a breakthrough, a revolutionary idea. Oh, that is a lot of science that he gets into his hand. He can upgrade, really build one. No, builds an extra irrigation and upgrade another one. No, grabs cavalryman. So goes for an extra irrigation, destroys Aurora for that. So you can be pretty sure that he can still defend if smoula892 would go for an aggression. And this will give him 1 extra pop next turn, so I like that. He can pop next turn, upgrade the Sanct irrigation, so he will get 1 pop each turn. And then he will also have enough rocks to build 1 journalism with Gutenberg. So yeah, pretty solid, pretty solid. I don't know if he will have enough rocks to go for these journalisms, but smoula892, especially with not going for the Conmon, is not that threatening. I mean, if he had the Conmon instead, maybe you would feel a lot, yeah, unsafer if you were Enderwigan, but like this, if smoula892 wants to do anything military heavy, he will need the strategy. He will need the science for that. So with this, Enderwegen will prepare with the cavalryman. He has a lot of rock production, so we can probably put some of those rocks into the journalisms, catch up in culture production and so on. But the strategy will come out. And first, the immigration as well, so pretty good for Smoula. He gets 1 free pop. We'll go for alchemies this turn, okay. Can upgrade 1. And the second one, definitely grab the strategy, yeah. Maybe rifleman as well, yeah, rifleman as well. Okay, so he still does go for these alchemies. So maybe that was the reason that he really wanted the science to go for alchemies this turn, so we couldn't spend 1 extra science on the Cornwall, because the 3 science he has right here is from the breakthrough. So maybe. I mean, he does get the strategy now, so all of a sudden he's back at being definitely a little bit threatening. And Enderwegen, yeah, struggling a little bit with those cards coming out. Not getting the chance for any government form, not getting the chance for the strategy. So a little bit unfortunate for him. But he does get the justice system in hand, can go for revolutionary idea. So at least he will go up to 6 civil actions. Still stuck on 2 MAs. Could go for Catherine for the extra MA, but I don't think he will. Will build 1 journalism this turn. Can upgrade the second irrigation. Pretty clean turn, I have to say. This was well prepared. I mean, we did see it last turn, where he set up all of this, having enough food to increase pop, having enough rocks to upgrade the irrigation and build the journalism. Going down to 0 rocks, so he needed the discount from the masonry and the discount from Gutenberg. So yeah, very clean turn and amazingly set up. That is strong of a very good player. You could see that this was the exact plan that he planned last turn. I mean, maybe not with the justice system, but his rocks, destroying the warrior, building the extra irrigation worked out perfectly for him. Then he gets journalism, so the next population might go into the journalism. Smoula will push, we will get the wealthy, and actually Enderwegen is able to win it. Okay, so Smoula, that means he has... Okay. I mean, Smoula has Isabella still. Interesting that he doesn't want to send away that much. I mean, even just 1 knight and 3 rocks. I guess that is 6 rocks, so... The wealthy territory isn't worth that much, honestly, if you don't get it for just a warrior. Especially in Smoula's case. If he spends 3 rocks from Isabella and 3 from the knights, that's already back at what he had before. Plus he needs to rebuild the knight with an MA. But for Enderwegen this is a pretty good deal. He probably doesn't need the rifleman for his tactic, because he has cannon and cavalryman. So pretty good for him. Sad for Smoula that he probably hasn't drawn a colonization card, but hate to say it, but with 2 MAs, not that likely to get that. He will upgrade his MAs, he will go for Catherine here. Can also go for strategy if he wants to, but he doesn't want to. Build another knight and 1 more, 13 strength and the strategy. So yeah, he is threatening now. He wants the expansion from Catherine, getting the extra yellow cube from Enderwegen. Enderwegen has invested a lot of rocks into his urban buildings. And he's still, especially with that colony now, sitting at 12 rocks. Can easily go for cavalryman. With this show of strength from Smoula, he can... Or he probably has to respawn. Can't go for 1 more journalism. I would be very surprised if he does that. And Smoula, I mean, he's still producing a lot of culture, 7 now. But don't forget that Enderwegen doesn't have a new leader yet. If he goes for Darwin, that is 3 more culture production. They will have the same then. Could still go for Bach. We will see. But yeah, 16 strength is very threatening. Deny the wave of nationalism. Go for an efficient upgrade, probably for the selective breeding. So Smoula is also setting up a nice turn. Next turn, you can go for selective breeding, upgrade with the efficient upgrades. Doesn't show a new tactic. Maybe he has the hussars. That would be quite a lot of extra strength. So we could see a war next turn. Or there could, of course, be the conquistadors. Doesn't have conquistadors. Not the best tactic, but for his setup, not the worst. I mean, he would still need the rifleman. Doesn't have enough science next turn. But next turn we could just see, as I said, the selective breeding. So yeah, pretty strong setup from smoula. Let's see how endgame can respond. We'll go for the cavalryman. So he probably does have the mobile artillery in hand. At least he's suggesting as much. We'll build one. Does he show tactic? Yes, he does have the mobile artillery, so pretty good for him. But yeah, he has had to set up that as well with cannons and cavalrymen. Has enough science for that. At 12 strength now, so yeah, optimal defense from him. Could even go for Nobel. No, goes for Bach instead. We'll develop the drama then. Yeah, so plans to get more culture production. I mean, he still has the rock advantage. Will lose one yellow cube. That will give him some problems with the epiphases. Probably the reason why he didn't want Darwin. Darwin would destroy one of his epiphases from the religion. And with him losing 2 yellow cubes to the end of the age and 1 more to Catherine, he's looking at yeah, a little bit of a crisis on the epiphase front. We will have to see how he can handle that. Of course, he can rebuild alchemies into dramas if he doesn't have extra population to get the epiphases. Yeah, we'll see. So, H3 will start. Smoula can just use the Great Expansion, or I don't know if it has a name, but steal the yellow cube from endgame. And as we can see now, he does have active epiphases problems. He can't increase pop now because that yellow cube is gone. So great move by smoula, delaying the extra pop from endgame quite a bit, because now he can't increase population next turn. If he had 1 more yellow cube, he could increase population with the frugality, so the turn after that he would get 1 more population. So yeah, delaying that quite a bit. Smoula now will go for the selective breeding. As we said, he set that up quite nicely. 1 and 1 more with the fusion upgrade. We also have the Red Cross, so this strength, this push into food has a lot of potential for him. Doesn't have the most rocks still, hasn't upgraded those, has Wave of Nationalism though, has reserves and patriotism, so he will be very happy to see these. I would just grab all the yellow cards on the deck here. Reserves, patriotism, 1 more reserves. Yeah, that is a lot of rocks in hand. Still has 1 more culture production. It is really, really close with the culture production. 40 to 39 and 6 production to 7. When endgame gets his Bach online, when he does go for these dramas, smoula will fall behind quite fast, but he still has the strength lead. Endgame has happy face problems, has yellow bank problems. So pretty interesting position. I think I would like endgame's position more, because he has a very good tactic, potential for an even better one from H3. And he has Bach, and he has rocks. On the other hand, he has only 2 MAs, he only has that despotism. So for him still top priority would be H3 government forms. So maybe this age he will be happy enough to draw one of those government forms. And smoula, before ending the age, will reveal the Hussars, so 19 strength from him now. Let's see, still no government form, but military theory. I think that has to be grabbed here. Yeah, so first of all, endgame will go for the drama from the alchemy, as I said. We built that with Bach. Go down to 4 science production, but still that's a pretty easy solution to his happy faces. Still gives him a lot of extra culture. This military theory is super important. And then he will also get the air forces. So yeah, from him, good response. He only needs culture production and he gets that from Bach. And then he can defend with his rocks, with air forces and military theory. And it looks hard for smoula to do something against this. He doesn't really have enough rocks to go for movies or something. He doesn't even have enough rocks to go for wonders. And endgame gets super easy and cheap way to generate a lot of culture. If he has population, and he will get the population next turn, it was only delayed a little bit. These dramas for 3 rocks will produce 3 culture each with Bach. So you can easily go up to 15 or something. With spending very few rocks, and smoula doesn't have a way to do the same. So at this point, yeah, definitely like endgame's position quite a lot. And with the military theory, he now is in a good position to defend as well. Smoula will open new deposits. I mean, that's 3 more rocks for Enderwigan than for himself. The democracy has also shown up. I guess that has to be denied. Smoula will play the rocks, will go for even more food production. 1 more night. Civil service. Reserves. And cavalryman. Yeah, a little bit, feels a little bit desperate from him. I don't know. The cavalrymen, I mean, their reserves are great. Maybe I would have liked engineering genius as well. I mean, it's a hard position for him, I think. He probably is doing what he has to. Depending on his card draw, he could still go for war. But against someone with 25 rocks who now also has the military theory and a good tactic, you can just destroy things to build those units. Yeah, but as I said, there is no way for Smoula to generate extra culture. At least no easy way. He has not... I mean, he has full control over the event stake at least. If these cards are punishing, he should be stronger for quite a while. If they are refugees and so on, he could punish Enderwigan still. But we will have to see. Enderwigan could now go for the democracy, and he immediately goes for that. Yeah, I was wondering if maybe Smoula should have denied that. On the other hand, now Enderwigan doesn't have that much science. He can go for the revolutionary idea. I think we will see that. He will increase pop, build a cannon, build a cavalryman. Has to destroy something. No, rebuilds. 1 more alchemy to drama. He will actually get stronger here. And then what is his last draw? Reserves and engineering genius. So at least he doesn't get the revolutionary idea. So he says, I'm finished with technologies. I have my democracy, giving me a lot of civil actions and 1 extra MA, which is also crucial. But this means no military theory for him. He feels confident that he can just defend with cannons and cavalrymen. He has a way better, a way more efficient military than Smoula. And he feels like he can rely on that to win this. And then he doesn't need any extra science to get culture buildings or anything. As I said, he has those cheap dramas. All the rocks can go into military. He has the culture lead, culture production lead as well. So yeah, Smoula will open the wealthy, and this time he's able to win it for just warrior. So that is great from 14 rocks. So 9 rocks for just this warrior that he didn't need. That opens a lot of possibilities for him. Especially he does have the wave. I am going to be interested to see where he goes with this. There's the red cross. He has reserves in hand, so I think he can pop once. Maybe go for cavalryman with the wave or something. Let's see, he does go for, okay, no cavalryman then. He does go for the civil service. Red cross. So Enderwigan will be able to steal 1 stage, but that will mean a lot of extra culture for Smoula. Him getting 4 stages, Enderwigan only 1. And then what else? Revolutionary idea, yes, deny that from Enderwigan. Increase pop once. Build a knight. And another one, 26 strength, so he wants to be stronger, definitely. Also gets out of corruption. He should have enough reserves here to finish the red cross next turn. But gets 1 more reserves in his hand. So maybe with the extra rocks that he's gotten from the wealthy, he can get another wonder as well, like the space flight. I mean, the space flight would be okay for him, I think. A little bit interesting that he doesn't use the wave now. Maybe he thinks I can always use it later still. And this is a good way to get out of corruption. Because corruption is a problem for him, even with the wealthy territory, 4 extra blue cubes, but with this many on the board, that definitely, and even 3 more from the civil service, he still had corruption issues if he would have used the wave. So yeah, I think I like that. He keeps that in hand, can still use it later. He has enough reserves to still have enough rocks, so he might get red cross plus spaceflight. And we have, yeah, I mean, Enderwigan will get the culture lead now, but will it be enough? Vast territory, Enderwigan will win this one. I mean, if these cards were more punishing, if they were refugees or something, but they are not. Enderwigan will get the vast territory for just that cavalryman. Can increase pop, rebuild that cavalryman, patriotism. We'll rebuild the religion into the opera, into the drama endowment. He did build one stage of the Red Cross just now, and then with his last selection can play reserves for food. So he does have 22 rocks. I mean, isn't there some problem for him, or did he do the math? Let's see. Let's see for Smoula's next turn. He can finish the Red Cross, but he would need 1 reserves for it. Like play the reserves for food, finish the Red Cross, that is 5 civil actions. And then he could just grab the spaceflight, then Endarigan won't have a wonder. He has the engineering genius, but the only wonder left is the main project, and that is not something that will give culture to Endarigan. I don't think at this point we will see a military game. Endarigan doesn't have enough MAs, not enough science for the military theory or the air forces. And Smoula doesn't have enough rocks. I mean, maybe he could still pull that off, but he doesn't have enough for air forces this turn, and next turn is probably his last chance. So I think for Smoula the best way would be go for the Red Cross now, go for the space flight. Maybe even I don't think he can make the engineering work. He has to grab that, play revolutionary idea and develop that. But here I think he could just finish the Red Cross. Let's first see civil unrest. Okay, that wasn't even an impact here. That was not an impact that he just played. That isn't ideal. But yeah, he plays the food from the reserves, finishes the Red Cross. So 24 plus 3 for him. Then just grab the spaceflight, right? Yes, so I predicted it. Nice, I saw it as well. Yeah, maybe nothing Endarigan could do about that. But he could have just grabbed the spaceflight, right? I mean, now Smoula has gotten back the culturally, not by much. And Endarigan is still outproducing him, but I think this will make it close. Because Endarigan, I mean, where does he go with his rocks from now on? Okay, he can build extra journalism. Sure, he can upgrade his culture production. He will outproduce Smoula by quite a lot, so the spaceflight might not be enough. But I think this turn, perfect for Smoula. The setup also really good with the extra food that was planned from him to get the Red Cross, and then probably another wonder as well. So really, really well done by Smoula, getting his, or keeping his options open to win this. If he had no chance to get these wonders, there would be no chance for him to win. He can't make the military work. He doesn't have the rocks to keep up with Bach in culture production, so he needs these wonders, and that worked out perfectly for him. Endarigan won't get a good wonder, and Smoula will get 2. So that is well done. Let's see, Endarigan won't push. Okay, will increase population 2 times. 1 journalism and another one. Alright, urban growth, chaplain, movies. Yeah, I mean, I still think Endarigan might have this, just because, yeah, he has the culture production of 21 versus 7. So each of these wonders, even if they generate like 20 culture, that is not much more than 1 or 2 turns of culture production. And the longer the game goes on, the worse it gets for Smoula. But yeah, this turn pretty good for Endarigan to set up. Can go for Chaplain next turn, plus the movies. When Bach is gone, Chaplain is a good replacement with the movies, can upgrade them with the urban growth. I was wondering, or I was saying, where does he go with his rocks from now on? If he doesn't need to put them into military, gives us the answer. The rocks will go into movies. There they have a good place. Okay, that is nice for Smoula. Politics of Strength. He draws 5 extra cards. Endarigan will not. I mean, Endarigan wouldn't have drawn cards at the end of his next turn anyway, because he will do that. Can't do that in H4. But yeah, this is still good. Smoula now has 1 more impact in the deck than Endarigan, and also he has drawn a lot of impact, so he can play 1 more next turn. And this top card that was placed there by Smoula last turn will be on top. So of course, when he's still stronger, that could make it harder for Endarigan to push. But let's first see what he wants to do. Einstein, I mean, Einstein has some extra culture. Show a new tactic to make him weaker to use the wave, I guess. Develop those riflemen. Okay, develop a lot of things with Einstein. Use the wave. 70 rock, a lot of rocks here. He spends all of those H2 cards before they are gone. The reserves, the wave of nationalism, the patriotism. So 9 rocks to spend on military now. He will build 1 rifleman, upgrade 1 cavalryman and another cavalryman. So 34 strength from him. Still enough rocks to finish the spaceflight next turn. Reserves in hand as well. And then he probably can go for 1 more technology with Einstein. And then his, yeah, I think his spaceflight should be alright. He is not a crazy one. He never had crazy science production, but always pretty solid. So it should easily be around 20 from the spaceflight. Of course, this turn he has researched quite a lot of technologies. Cavalryman, rifleman. Okay, that's it, but that's 6 culture from Einstein, so now he's at 116 after his turn. Enderhagen is at 116 before his turn. Yeah, this guy. You produce so much culture here with Bach that you already have caught up to Smoula again after you finished the Red Cross. And you have actually overtaken him because Enderhagen produces 2 more times, Smoula only once. So 40 culture more for Enderhagen if we count that, so -5. So it's still not that easy for Smoula to win, but let's see if Enderhagen will play an impact. First of all, he will lose Bach, so he does go down in culture production. But with Chaplin, that shouldn't be a big problem. He doesn't push here actually. He will grab them in project, and that will make him stronger if he finishes that this turn. Will give him 6 culture as well. Can go for Chaplin still. Movies and upgrade 1 to get the culture production from Chaplin. So 22 culture production, 6 culture from the Manhattan Project. And I think most importantly, he is stronger now. We talked about this H2 card that is on top, that was played there by Smoula. That is of course now a problem for him. At least he knows what's in there, but he is now weaker than Enderhagen. He also has not a lot of extra rocks to get stronger. I think he might have, yeah, he probably has enough for at least Aurora. So then he will fulfill the tactic once again outdated. And he is going to be stronger if he destroys a couple of things. But the biggest problem here, Enderhagen still has his production of culture. So we'll end this this turn with 141 culture versus 116. And then Smoula's last turn, does he push? He has drawn a lot of cards and he will push, and on top will be terrorism. Okay, that of course doesn't have anything to do with strength, so that is a very, very nice card that was put there by Smoula, of course, and he can destroy that expensive movies. Enderhagen can rebuild it, could just rebuild it or upgrade 1 of the dramas to produce more with Chaplin. But of course that helps Smoula quite a bit, who then will play reserves, can go for 1 more technology. Oh, he doesn't want to be stronger, okay. Does not want to be stronger. We'll finish the space for 18. Yeah, not quite 20, but 18 is alright. But yeah, as I said, problem is that's almost what, or Enderhagen almost makes 18 as a difference in culture production each turn. But he will go up to 140 plus something, so he will catch up a little bit, but Enderhagen still has his turn. So let's see that. Also, no Impetus of Strength can be won by Smoula now, so if Enderhagen has that, he can win that easily. Impetus of Wonders is pretty good for Smoula, but not too bad for Enderhagen either. 13 to 11. Then we get build back or upgrade the movies, build 1 lab. So Impetus of Science is very, very likely now. And then build 1 Rifleman or 1 Aurora for Impetus of Variety, probably. And then let's see the final impacts. Science was indeed one of them. The next one is Industry 6 to 3. Agriculture 10 to 13. And the last one, Government 21 to 22. So Enderhagen will be able to win this. Relatively close. Smoula did his best that he could do with those wonders. That was still really well played. Then it wasn't enough to keep up with the culture from Bach. I mean, we saw this coming from a little bit. Smoula tried to play for us outs, setting up for the wonders and so on. Couldn't make the military work. And that is one problem when you play with bronze. It feels like it's always, yeah, the game is running a little bit away. Especially against Bach, who can catch up so fast. I mean, Smoula had good culture production early on. It was up to 7 in the H2, which is quite a lot for that. And if he could have made the game a little bit more messy and make it so Enderwigan couldn't have gone for Bach, this tactic could have worked out. Generate early culture, push for military, and then maybe some wonders. But yeah, Bach just producing a little bit too much. Still relatively close in the end. And of course, well played by Enderwigan. Congrats to him, showing us once again why Bach is one of the strongest leaders, giving him the heavy faces when he needed those. Still, he also showed us a very, very strong Gutenberg game with those alchemies, with those philosophies. The switch into journalism, I questioned it, but in retrospect, I think it was a pretty good move and worked out perfectly with then also going for Bach and putting the alchemies into those dramas when he needed the happy faces. So well done indeed by him. So yeah, congrats to him, and let's take a look at this at these guys' group stage. And they were in group number 5, which is finished. As you can see, group 5 was a little bit messy. We can take a look here. Enderwigan is able to win it, and Shorty will come in second. Smoula only third. But as you can see, the points don't quite match to what they should be. Yeah, this group was messy. Gangstership, as I said in an earlier video, had to drop out of the tournament because of the war in the Ukraine. So he ran out of time, or he resigned, I don't know, timed out in those games. Splinter, TSS, the Splendid Splinter, also, I don't know if he had some problems or he maybe just missed his games, but he ran out of time in his games as well, all besides one. So unfortunate for him. But yeah, that means only 3 players were in here that really contested for the first and second spot. So of course, great position for them. Smoula sadly was not able to win the games versus Shorty or Enderwigan. So yeah, these 3 guys made the first 3 spots between themselves, and Enderwigan and Shorty will advance to the next stage. So congratulations to them. We saw just now how well Enderwigan plays. Smoula also a strong player. We saw that in the last game. Unfortunate for him, he couldn't make it out of this group stage, but maybe next time. And then Shorty, I don't think we've seen a game from him yet, but of course, congratulations to him as well for advancing. So thank you guys very much for watching. We are getting closer. As you see, there's some groups left that haven't finished yet. I'm still gonna post a couple of videos, and the next group stage is gonna start on the 1st of April. So it's still a couple of days as of the time of this recording. So I'm gonna probably do like 2 or 3 more games of this group stage, and then see how fast these players will finish their first games of the next group stage. Or it won't even be a group stage. The next stage will be the playoffs with 16 people left, and then this tournament will get even better than it is right now, I'm pretty sure. So thank you guys very much for watching, and see you next time.